The reading is taken from John chapter 20, verses 24 to 31. Now Thomas, one of the 12, was not with the disciples when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, "We have seen the Lord." But he said to them, "Unless I see the nail marks in his hands, and put my finger where the nails were, and put my hand into his side, I will not believe." A week later, his disciples were in the house again, and Thomas was with them. Though the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here, see my hands. Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe." Thomas said to him, "My Lord and my God." Then Jesus told him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." Jesus performed many other signs in the presence of his disciples, which are not recorded in this book. But these are written that you may believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name. This is the word of the Lord.
Let me say a prayer now. Father, thank you so much for the truth of your word, the Bible. Please help us to have open hearts and minds to hear your voice speaking to us today, and wills to listen and obey. Amen. I'd like to introduce you to somebody. This is Colin. Colin is a cardboard cutout created from a Canon computer carton. This is Colin. So everyone say hello, Colin. Is anyone here called Colin, by the way? I apologise. There is Colin. Is Colin Crabtree here? So this is Colin, okay? And as you might spot, Colin is a cardboard cutout. So I'm going to put Colin just about here. And I'd like to invite somebody else. Now, Colin does have a slightly bad neck. So if I put him there and he sort of slouches back, we'll have to prop him up a bit. Because I'd like to invite somebody else. Astrid, could you come and join me here as well, please? Could you come here? In fact, I'm going to put Colin here. Astrid, I'm going to ask you to do something which you wouldn't normally do. Could you stand on the bench there and just face everybody? Well, it won't fall over. It's a very sturdy bench. Right. Okay, what we're going to do now is what I'd like to try to work out is which one's the real person. Okay, is it Colin or is it Astrid? Okay, we're going to do 3 tests. So, first test, we're going to have a good look. Okay, let's have a good somebody very much enjoying it over here. Have a good look. So, I don't know, if you're erring more on the side of Colin, can you sort of raise a little hand? As a real person? Jed, see me afterwards. If we're erring on the side of Astrid, probably Astrid, I think, give a little wave. Yeah, mostly. Right, okay, so the first question to look at. Okay, we can see probably this is the real person. Let's try another test. For this, I need something very important. Okay, so we have a feather duster. Now, Colin, don't slouch. Here we go. See if Colin's expression changes. Any change? No, you're not. Right. Astrid, guess what's happening? Put your hand up. Here we go. Are you... Excellent. Was that a laugh? I think we're laughing. Okay. Right, so that's the second test. Then we've got a third test here. I have some Smarties, you see. Somebody gave us Smarties for Easter. Genuine Smarties. Now, what we're going to do, Astrid, can I give one of those to you? I'm just going to pop it in your mouth. Oh, is that okay? It's okay. So, right, ready? And go. And chomp, chomp. Excellent. And there's more movement. Right, here we go. This is for Colin. I've just realised they're all orange. Right, here we go. Colin, do you fancy a Smartie? You do, right. Here we go. Are you ready? Oh, hang on. You get that. Thank you. Right, let's try again. And Oh, go on. So we've done our 3 tests. We've looked. Do you want to have it? It's only been a little bit on the floor. That'll be right. Do what? Keep it safe. Wash it down with another one. There you go. Have that. Right. So we've got 3 tests. So we've had a look at Astrid and Colin, and we've all agreed that probably this is the real person. And then we had a prod, a little tickle, and there seemed to be some laughter here. Colin's expression did not change. And then we tried to feed them. And Astrid, I presume you're still going. Chomp chomp. Is that right? And Colin, it just fell out the back of his head because he's a cardboard cutout. So all those who think this is the real person, say yes. Jed can't help himself. All those who think Astrid is the real person, say hooray! Hooray! Do you want to go and sit down? Thank you very much. Right, you're probably thinking, I got out of bed for that. We'll leave Colin there for a moment. We'll leave Colin there. So we've seen that Astrid is really real, isn't she? We've done some tests. If there's any scientific people amongst us, we could do more tests to show that she's really real. In our Bible passage that Rona's just read to us, we can see that Jesus is really real. In the Bible, we have 4 particular accounts of his life: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And they're based on eyewitness accounts of what really happened. So we see that Jesus is really real. And talking of Jesus, imagine you were Jesus. Okay? And you had this group of friends, probably about 12 friends, and you were with them for 3 years, and then you were betrayed by one of them. Okay? And then when you got arrested, the rest of them ran away in fear. Then you were nailed to a cross and rose again like you said you would. And then you came to those 11 remaining disciples and you appeared to them. What would you say? What would I say if I was Jesus? Because I'd be thinking, hang on, chaps, because they were all chaps, where were you? You've abandoned me. One betrayed me. Where were you in my hour of need? Would you think he might be a bit cross? Do you think he might be upset? What do you think he might say? Maybe he's let down. If you ever look in the white sheet, if you've got good eyes, you can see a little 26. That's the verse numbers. To the top of that second paragraph. A week later, his disciples, that's Jesus' friends, were in the house again, and Thomas was with them. Though the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, what did he say? He said, I'm so cross with you, you let me down. Doesn't say that, does it? He said, peace be with you. Peace be with you. This is, in fact, the 3rd time that he's seen his disciples. John tells us that in the preceding verses. It's not on our sheet, but John says, he appears and he says, peace be with them. Again, Jesus saw them and said, peace be with you. You see, the real Jesus brings real peace. Real Jesus brings real peace. Think about our world today. Is it peaceful? Answer A, yes, or B, really, really not. I don't know about you, but sometimes I turn on my phone and look on the news and think, what's happened in the last hour? Who's pressed what button? It's really in a state of turmoil. Where do we go with that? What do we do with the turmoil out there, but also, as I alluded to earlier, the turmoil in here? Who do we go to? Because the disciples' world was turned upside down, and Jesus brings peace. But some struggled with this, didn't they? Did you notice? Thomas. Have you ever heard of Thomas before? Have you ever heard of the phrase doubting Thomas? A doubting Thomas. This is where it comes from. You may not have known where it was from, but this poor chap Thomas gets known as doubting Thomas. And he says, I really want to know if Jesus, he wasn't there, as it says in verse 24, Thomas, one of the 12, was not with the disciples when Jesus came. So the other disciples said, we've seen him. And Thomas said, I want to see it for myself. So Thomas, or Jesus, does these tests with him, a bit like we did with Colin and Astrid. So he said, look, you can see me. And then he says, come here. What does he say? Verse 27, put your finger here, see my hands. where nails would have gone through. Put your hand into my side. The Bible tells us that Jesus had a sword thrust into his side. And out of it came a flow of blood and water, showing that he was truly dead. He didn't just faint on the cross. And we don't see it in this reading, but in Luke's gospel, the disciples say, hey, come and have some food with us. And they give him a piece of fish and he eats it. And unlike Colin, it doesn't just go straight through and out the other side. Jesus is not a ghost. He's not a spirit. There's a physicality to him. So with these three tests, they say it really is him. Jesus really is real. And what's Thomas's response? That third paragraph. Thomas said to him, my Lord and my God. He was confronted here with God in a person. And his response was, my Lord and my God. And then Jesus says something amazing that includes us. The next verse, Jesus said to Thomas, because you've seen me, you've believed. Blessed are those who've not seen and yet have believed. And that's where we come in. Because we can't physically see Jesus, but we can trust him, we can believe in him. So a question for us this morning as we come, do you believe in Jesus? Because shortly, Archie's parents are going to make what's called a declaration of faith. If you look over here at the bottom of the third column, so down here on our service sheet, I'm going to ask the question, do you believe and trust in God the Son who took our human nature, died for us and rose again? And Archie's parents and godparents are going to say, affirm what they believe. I believe and trust in him. But we're here to celebrate with you this morning, but it's not merely for you, it's for everybody. Jesus' invitation to believe is for everybody. And you may be here thinking, I've got doubts. Well, so did Thomas. Thomas had his doubts. Plenty of people have got doubts. Be honest about them, but let's take Jesus at his word. Because if we believe in him, it leads to life. Look at the last verse there, verse 31. In fact, verse 30. Jesus performed many other signs in the presence of disciples that are not recorded in this book. That's the book of John. But these are written that you may believe that Jesus is the Messiah, that's God's chosen one, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name. So trusting in Jesus is following a real person, not subscribing to a rule of life or a philosophical idea or a legend like, who likes Robin Hood? I love Robin Hood. Robin Hood's a legend, isn't he? You think, oh, I'd like to be like Robin Hood. He robs from the rich, gives to the poor. What a great guy. It's not that. It's about following a real risen person. Jesus, the Bible tells us, is as real as Astrid is. Is as real as Astrid. And it challenges our thinking, doesn't it? And we think we've got it all sorted out. And some people assume that Jesus actually is just like Colin. He's just a cardboard cutout. He's just a sort of an idea to follow, not really real. The message of the Bible is no, we can follow this real person ourselves. Because as we come to baptism in a moment, baptism is a start of a new life, a new spiritual life. And as we're in this season of Easter was last week, that's a start of a new time of life, a new season of life. Christians are resurrection people. We're not here just to honour some dead hero. It's a time for starting over and trusting the real Jesus, the one who went through death and is really alive today. He's the one, the true one, that is worth following always.